Well, hello there. How is everyone? I hope you are all well on this Monday. That's it. It's Monday. I know some of you don't like it when I tell you what day of the week it is, and a lot of the.
Oh, shut up. How we doing, guys? He's still got his sweatshirt with his 2-inch thick strings, you know. Why are his strings so thick? Can anybody answer that? One of my subscribers asked that in the comments yesterday. I've never seen fucking strings that fucking thick. You know what I mean? So, the title of this video: is this proof Bryan Kohberger could have been wrongfully charged? What a clown. Wrongfully charged? I mean, let him get to his trial and have his trial first, right? How could he be wrongfully charged? You know what I mean? I mean, let him get to his trial and let the jury decide. I mean, obviously, there's been enough probable cause for him to have been arrested. The burden of proof is just more probable than not. It's not very high to be charged with the crime, right? It's a whole different ballpark to be convicted of the crime. This is what I mean when I'm talking about. Harsh has no idea what he's talking about, really. I mean, and then he says all these things, and he's been doing this for so many years. He's got all these people now that follow him because he's been doing it for so long. It's not that he's any good, because he's not. This is why he should stick to UK cases, because he knows the laws better than, the US laws, obviously. Is this proof Bryan Kohberger could have been wrongfully charged? Does that even make sense? I mean, think about that for a second. Wrongfully charged. Anyway, let's get into this. Let's get into the meat potatoes, guys. Here we go.
The time I even get it wrong. But look, there's some people out there who want me to do it. So I'm kind of trying to balance the book slightly. But anyway, you're looking absolutely amazing for a Monday, and I hope the week is good to you. So we can come back at the end of the week and see just how amazing you still look.
What a butt kisser. And just so you know, I'm wearing this hat, this stupid hat, because he's wearing his stupid hat. Just like I couldn't find a big ass Santa hat, and I'm not gonna go out and buy one like he did. So, I moved, or well, I would have had my drunk turkey glasses. It's been a while since I did a drunk turkey reaction.
But anyway, thank you for joining me on this wonderful Monday morning, and we're going to be talking about something that I spoke about in the live last night. Thank you for those of you who joined me. I know not everyone can stomach lives, and to be honest, I can't stomach lives. My live is rarely the only live that I rarely get involved in. I do look at some others briefly, but it's that thing, isn't it? Time is precious.
Real quick, this guy is so fake. I mean, he tries to act like this big, bubbly, nice guy, but really, when you actually know this dude, he is a slime ball and a creep. I mean, he is not like this. This is not his real personality. So, you guys need to stop letting this clown fool you. He is not like this.
But anyway, we're going to touch on something, and that is looking at things like prosecutorial misconduct and how people end up in positions where they can find themselves indeed wrongfully convicted, and whether that looks like there's a potential that in terms of the Idaho 4 case, Bryan Kohberger could indeed be in the situation that he's in because of an amalgamation of these problems. So we have a look. I know you can't wait. We're only 1 minute in as well. Why do wrongful convictions happen? And again, some of you who was in the live last night, you'll be familiar with this.
So he's going to literally read us the definition of why wrongful convictions happen. And he's talking about convictions. I mean, what a dumbass, right? Kohberger hasn't even had his trial yet. He's only been charged. He's only been charged. This is what I mean, harsh. He doesn't know what he's doing. He doesn't know what he's talking about, okay? Oh my God.
I apologise. By studying cases where individuals have been exonerated, we have been able to identify the main factors that contribute to wrongful convictions.
Like, I'm sorry for interrupting, but the evidence for both sides hasn't even been presented yet. There's a gag order. You know what I mean? Let the trial happen first. Move on to something else, harsh, and then come back to this. There's a gag order. We're not going to find out anything else. This is what keeps these people believing that Kohberger is probably innocent, because people like this, creators like this, that don't know what they're doing, that don't even know what they're talking about. I mean, seriously. He literally doesn't even know what he's talking about.
At K-Whip, I'm going to call it K-Whip, we see these factors often in combination in the many applications that arrive in our mailbox from prisoners seeking our help. The leading factors in wrongful convictions are eyewitness misidentification, false confessions, police and prosecutorial misconduct, flawed forensic evidence, and perjured testimony. So we have a look.
Alright, so real quick. All he's going to do is just guess and make assumptions about what Dylan or Bethany did or didn't do, if the police maybe staged the sheath or planted it, or somebody else did, right? Because he doesn't have any evidence. He's just trying to make shit up for another video.
Look at the most important ones. So it's looking at eyewitness misidentification, okay? So eyewitness misidentification is one of the most common factors in cases of wrongful convictions. Nationally, 28% of all exonerations involve mistaken eyewitness identification. Social science research demonstrates that human memory is highly imperfect and fragile. When people experience a stressful event like a crime, they're much less able to make an accurate identification. Witnesses are even less accurate when they attempt to identify someone of another race. Additionally, lineups and photo arrays can be suggestive and lead a witness to pick the wrong person. This can happen when the suspect is the only person in an array who closely matches the description of the offender. So again, manipulation there. Police officers can also influence the process by how they interact with the witness during the identification procedure. Police officers' comments, body language, and positive feedback can steer the witness towards a particular suspect and then inflate
This guy's a goof.
the witness's confidence in their identification. Despite study after study proving the unreliability of eyewitness, or say she saw someone clad in black with a mask.
I had to skip a little bit. He's literally he read this whole fucking thing.
Mask on, bushy eyebrows. Now, you could say that at some point they're going to point this out in the courtroom, aren't they? They're going to try and put Brian Kohberger as this person. It personifies that element of the case, and
he's doing exactly what I said he was going to do. He read this to say that Dylan, she probably didn't see what she said she saw, right? I mean, how stupid is that, right? So you're telling me that Dylan, she said she saw a tall guy, but maybe she was wrong. Maybe he was actually short, Harsh. She said he had bushy eyebrows, right? What? So maybe his eyebrows weren't that bushy. Okay. What else did she say? She said she saw the guy have a mask on, right? What's there? What could be wrong about that, Harsh? You know, I don't even remember in her statement to the police if she even said white or black, but I'm sure she did. But I don't know how you can get that one wrong, right? Let's keep going.
You've got a person, rather than saying, well, we don't know who did it. We didn't see anyone. There was no witnesses, no nothing. So you have to ask yourself, in terms of Dylan Mortensen, what did she see? Did she truly see anything whatsoever? Or was this a situation that law enforcement leveraged because of the situation that these survivors placed themselves in? Maybe one of the girls had turned around and said they weren't going to be involved in it. Bethany Funk, for instance, I don't want no part of it, but if that's...
Or maybe Bethany's bedroom was on a whole different level, was down a whole nother floor, and maybe Dylan's was in the perfect spot to where when you crack it, you have to walk past it to get out the sliding door and get out of the house. Maybe it did happen like that, because that makes logical sense. That Kohberger would have to walk past Dylan's room to be able to get out of the house and get out the back slider, right? Hello. I mean, this is what I mean. Some people, he doesn't use his fucking brain, right? Why would the police, why would anybody want to frame Brian Kohberger? Who would gain anything from just picking Brian Kohberger out? I mean, nobody, right? Nobody. That makes no sense at all, that somebody would be trying to frame Brian Kohberger. Some random dude, right? That didn't even get brought up until the DNA came back a hit. I mean, come on. The Moscow, Idaho cops never arrested Brian Kohberger before. They didn't know Brian Kohberger. They didn't have a grudge against him. Come on. These clown YouTube creators, man. Use your brain, Harsh, you clickbait fuck.
What you want to do, that's your lookout, and perhaps that's the exculpatory evidence. Maybe someone's caught wind of this, that they were leveraged upon, and Bethany Funk walked away, and that was in fact what her experience was. That was just her experience. It was something that was personal to herself. Remember that statement being said. Did law enforcement try to lean on her, and did she turn it down?
I mean, why are you even trying to say that did law enforcement lean on her? I mean, do you have any evidence to even say that even happened? I mean, why do you keep talking about that, Harsh? Because there is no evidence that law enforcement leaned on Dylan to make that statement. I mean, this is just complete and utter fabrication, okay? And it's ridiculous.
Interesting thoughts, let me know down below. Answers on a postcard, please. And it's got a little thing there, which I'm not going to go through that, because this is the short version. False confessions. We don't need to look at false confessions there. Police and prosecutorial misconduct. Official misconduct by police officers, prosecutors, or other government officials has been present in 54%. That's over half of wrongful convictions across the nation. because criminal cases have many different stages. Official misconduct can occur in numerous ways. At the investigation stage, police engaged in misconduct.
Okay. Has been present in 54% of wrongful convictions. Okay, that's a huge difference than what you're trying to tell everybody, Harsh. And second of all, Kohberger hasn't been convicted of anything. You dumbass. He's only been charged, and he's waiting for his trial. Oh my God. I mean, this guy, dude, he just makes me so mad. He's so stupid.
When they deliberately use suggestion in an identification procedure, coerce a witness to implicate a suspect, fabricate physical evidence, or use improper interrogation techniques, Chris McDonough, to secure confession.
Like, does he not realize if any of this stuff occurred, it's going to come out at the trial when they will decide if Kohberger gets convicted or not. So he's reading all of this stuff, and this whole video is on Brian Kohberger being wrongfully charged, and then now he's trying to talk about he basically thinks but Kohberger's already been convicted. I mean, stick to the UK cases, bud.
Trial stage, prosecutors corrupt the process when they conceal exculpatory evidence. So this single section here encapsulates the entire situation that we see in the Idaho 4 case, potentially. And again, let me know down below what you think. Answers on a postcard, please. Swiftly moving on. I'm not going to read this. This is the short version. False and or misleading forensic evidence. False or misleading forensic evidence has been a contributing factor in 24% of exoneration cases across the country. Most forensic disciplines...
Oh, this is so boring. Alright, I gotta skip. Let me see if he just does this the whole fucking time.
Or corroborating in cases and the witness's criminal history. Now, I'm not going to go through that because this is just a short version. But let's look at it like this way. We know because we're smart.
So real quick, for this whole video that Harsh did, if anybody actually sat through it, which it says thousands of you did, all he did was read you definitions about people being wrongfully convicted, which has nothing to do with this case. Kohberger hasn't even been convicted. He's only been charged. I feel sorry for you guys that actually sat through that whole thing.
But that the fact that it took the surviving roommate so long to call 911, whether you like it or not, head in the sand, up your ass, whatever, that was a felony. Now, can you imagine if law enforcement said that was a felony what you did? We could pull you up now. Now, in the sand, up your ass, whatever, that was a felony. Now, can you imagine it took the surviving roommate so long to call 911, whether you like it or not, head in the sand, up your ass, whatever, that was a felony.
Hold on. He just said taking so long to call the cops was a felony. So he's saying that Dylan and Bethany committed a felony for not calling the cops. Harsh, how stupid are you? They didn't know anybody was murdered. They didn't know anything was wrong until their friends got there. They didn't know. How can you possibly? You keep sitting here and bash these two women that just lost their best friends and roommates in a brutal stabbing, and you're sitting here trying to pull shit out of the thin air and say that they knew this, they did that, they didn't see this, and you have no evidence whatsoever, dude. What do you mean they committed a felony? The only way they could have possibly committed a felony is if they knew what was happening, they knew who was in there, and then they didn't call. You don't have any proof of that, and there is no evidence of that. How could you possibly sit here and say that, Harsh? You are so stupid, and it just proves you have no idea what you're talking about. And I'm not even gonna, that's I'm done with him for today. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. And until next time, True Crime King out.